So we'll talk just a second about what a symbolic link is and why we're going to use it and how we're going to use it. So a symbolic link in the world of Unix or Linux, or in this case OS X, just is a pointer from one folder to another. So it creates a link, so to speak, from a root folder or a source folder to a target folder. A target folder doesn't really exist, but the OS treats it as though it exists, and any updates made to the source folder are instantaneously reflected in the target folder because they're really one and the same. The reason this is kind of important for what we're going to do is because we want to have a kind of like a repository of code snippets that can be shared among several users. And so my son, in his Dropbox folder, has shared a code snippets folder that has a bunch of code snippets that me and him have both come up with, and we're going to wind up sharing those with ultimately several other people. So we want XCode to automatically pick those code snippets up as they're added to or modified or whatever, and that can be a problem because XCode expects those code snippets to be in a certain place, which is a path that leads off of the user's library. It's library developer, Xcode, user data, code snippets. And that's about the only place that Xcode will look for code snippets unless you do some hacking, which we don't really need to do because we can just create a symbolic link. So let's kind of get with the program here, and I'll show you what this looks like. So we're going to fire up terminal. And first thing we're going to do is show you the Dropbox folder. So we're going to change directory to that tilde, by the way, signifies the current user. So /Dropbox /code snippets. The backslash right there is a escape for a space in a folder name. In this case, we have a space. So let's look at the contents of this, and you can see. We'll make this a little bit bigger here. You can see that we've got several code snippets already. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change to the folder where we have where we want this code snippets folder to link to. So we're going to go to, again, tilde for the current user, and then developer. Let's see where we're at here. Library, developer, Xcode, user data, and that's it. Now, if we look here, we're going to see that we already have a folder called code snippets. That's because I've got a couple. We're going to pretend like I've backed those up or whatever, and actually we're going to do that right now. But we really want to replace that folder with the symbolic link pointing back to our Dropbox folder. So I'm going to just move that. We're going to put it at the root. So we've now moved the code snippets folder to the root, and we can see that by, again, checking out the root, and we can see that we have a folder right there, right off of the root of the drive called code snippets, which is what we just created. So now, if we do a listing of this folder that we're in, which is the user data folder, we're going to see it's gone. So now we're going to create this symbolic link, and the command is ln-s, and it's /drop. Forgot the utility. Dropbox code snippets, and we want to put it here and call it code snippets. So now if we do another listing here, we're going to see that we have a symbolic link right there. And so normally if you just do a listing, you'll get this this little thing right here, and it tells you that code snippets really is this folder right here. So we can prove that because we can just change that directory and do an ls, and we can see that that is exactly what we looked at a few minutes ago. That the files that exist in the Dropbox folder. Now, let's just test this theory out. I'm just going to open up Finder here, and we'll go to our Dropbox folder, and we got the code snippets right here. And we're just going to tell it that we want a new folder in there. And we'll just call it test. If we go right here and we do that listing again, we're going to see that there's our folder. So we have instantaneous, it's because it's really the same, it's really pointing back, it's just a pointer, instantaneous updates of any new code snippets automatically. XCode will pick them up, and it's all sweet.